Hey BookTube, it's Jackie. How's it going? If you're new to me and it's the first time you're seeing my face, hello, what's up? My name's Jackie. I sit on my floor and I talk about books. So I hope that's why you're here, because that's what's gonna be happening today. If you're not new to me, thank you for always tuning in. The continued support, I really do appreciate it. So this is another dual weekly wrap up because I was a really bad booktuber. I did my weekly wrap up last week, but it's also really small because I didn't read a lot in the last 2 weeks. But this is my weekly wrap up for week 16 and 17 and all my reading shenanigans in between, which is not a lot because I didn't read a lot. Cause yeah. Here's the thing, guys. I read every single day. At some point in time in the day, I read every single day. I either listened to my audiobook or I physically sat down and read. But the book I was working on just took fucking forever. It did, and it shouldn't have. So, without further ado, grab yourself a drink, have yourself a seat, and let's find out what has been occupying my last 2 weeks. It's not a lot. Be prepared. So, surprise, we also have a book haul at the end of this video. Yeah, guys. This week was weird. So I started the week 16 working on my one book that I finished in the last 2 weeks. I'm not in a reading slump. That's the thing. I was not in a reading slump. It just took forever to read this book, and I don't know why, but I read it every single fucking night. I did. I read every single fucking day, whether I was on my deck or it was reading right before I went to bed or reading on my lunch break. I read every single day, but it just felt like I was reading this book forever. But let's just get right into it. I am still working on my audio reread of Empire the Vampire by Jay Kristoff. Why am I putting it up there? Is when I've got the book right here. But I am listening to this on audio, and this is the first installment to the Empire the Vampire series by Jay Kristoff. It's a high dark fantasy. This was my book of the year in 2022, and I have a full book review for it right here, and I'll link in the down box below. The audiobook is being done by Damian Lynch, and I'm having a really good time with it. However, the audiobook is like 28 hours long, and I listen to my audiobooks on one, especially when it comes to fantasy books. Fantasy books tend to be harder for me to listen to audio-wise, so I'm also following along in the book as well, especially during the action sequences, so I'm still making my way through it, but I still love this book. It's not changing my opinion at all, but I do have to say, if you are not a very auditory, yeah, I think that's the word I'm looking for, auditory like learner, and you don't really absorb that information well, I would definitely recommend physically reading this book. It is a chunker, but it's worth every little bit of it. I had a stunning time with this book. I love this book. And this one has pictures. It has pictures, which is always a fun time when you have pictures. I mean, we grow out of that later at some point in time, but I mean, who doesn't love a good random picture every once in a while? But there is a lot in this because we are building the world where it's an interview style. It's also being done by one voice. Now, Damian Lynch is doing a fantastic job of changing his voice for all the characters, but there is some foreign language elements in this book. So there's a lot of layers to this audiobook that if you're going to listen to audio, you want to have the physical copy to kind of go along with. If you're not a very strong or auditory absorber, like learner or remember of information, however you want to phrase it, when somebody says something to you, definitely physically read the book. I physically read this book and I retained more physically reading the book than I am auditory listening to it, but I know this book, so I still feel confident in the listening experience, and it's really fun. It's fun to listen to it. It's fun to hear Gabriel De Leon's voice. Gabriel De Leon is our hero in this story. He is what we call a Silver Saint. They are an organization that were designed to destroy vampires, which are now the rulers of the world. After the sun died, they took over, and the Silver Saints were destined to stop them. Well, Gabriel De Leon is the last Silver Saint. So you go in this book knowing that the vampires have won, and this is his story and his final record of his existence on this planet and this organization's on this planet. So, interview style, there's religion, there's sex, there's gore, there's graphic violence, there's gay fucking vampires. This book has fucking everything. Go check out that review if you're interested at all in it. And also know that this was my book of the year in 2022. And the sequel is currently out right now. It released this year. And I'm doing this reread to prepare myself for that. Because this book was so important to me and I loved it so much, I wanted to give the sequel a fair shot. So I wanted to make sure that I was fresh for it. So that is one reason why I'm doing the reread of it. But I'm still working on it. Just going very, very slow because I listen to my audiobooks very, very slow, guys. I do. Really bad about that. But the book that I read and completed in the last 2 weeks, the only book I read and completed this last 2 weeks, was The House Witch by Delembach. I have no idea if I'm saying that right. I fucking don't know. I feel like I'm saying something from Lord of the Rings still every time I say the title, the author's name. But this is Delembach's The House Witch. The first installment into what looks like to be a trilogy named The House Witch series. Book 2 is also called The House Witch. Book 2. Like, it not really original with the titles. But I read this for the Black Hat Book Coven. And if you are not a normal follower of mine, this is the first time you're seeing me, I am a member of what we call the Black Hat Book Coven over here on BookTube. It is me and 3 other lovely ladies. I will link them in the down box below. And we are an online book club and we get together twice a month, once for reading sprints and then once for a live show. And we talk about one book that we all kind of buddy read together. And the only real criteria for these books are they have to be witchy books. That has to be a main component to it, whether it's a magic system, about a witch, about historical witches, something, just witchy something, because we all really like, this group of girls, we all really like witchy books. We seem to be drawn to them naturally, and we all just kind of have a witchy vibe about us. Some practice it, some are intrigued by it, some look like it, and some just are a witch with a different first letter instead of a W. You can figure out which is which. But I love all these girls and they are awesome. They're all badasses and they all have great, great content. And our Coven leader, Becky, over at BeckXReads, she's the one that actually put this group together. She's hilarious. So if you've not checked her out, definitely go check her out. She is the Coven leader. And if you'd like to ever be part of our group, go check her out and ask her, because we are always welcoming new members. We have somebody in our trial period right now, and I think she's pretty badass, so yeah. But anyway, back to the book. So we read this book for the Black Hat Book Coven, and the live show for this will be on April 30th over on Becky's channel at BeckXReads. That is this coming Tuesday, right? Monday? Tuesday? I don't know. Tuesday. It's coming Tuesday. And we will be talking about this book, and we all, I'm gonna spoil this, have finished this book. This is gonna be a first. I don't know of any other Coven meeting that we have all finished the book. So, I'm pretty sure I'm the last one to have finished it because I just finished it. So this is gonna be really, really interesting. And we've all said, once we finished it, we put it in our little group chat on Instagram and said, I've got shit to say. I've got stuff to say. As soon as we were done reading it, we all had shit to say. So this is going to be definitely a fun live chat. You do not want to miss this one. Okay, guys, you don't. It's going to be a little unhinged. Just a little bit. But this, like I said, is the first installment to the House Witch series. And it is kind of a cozy mystery. We have very unique magic concepts, a very unique magic system. We do have some LGBTQ reps, so if that's something you're looking for and paranormal at the same time, here you go. It's not heavy on it, but it is in there, and it is a good time. Just a heads up, it's a good time. We also have a found family trope in this, which I really, really appreciated. That just added this layer of epicness to the story. I thought that was fantastic. And then we have what I would like to call a partial HEA with a very slow burn. And I say partial HEA because this is the first installment to a trilogy, and you have to read them in order. They're not interconnected standalones. This is actually a series. So yes, we have an sort of HEA. We have the beginnings of an HEA, but we don't actually know how it's all gonna work out. So yeah, partial. Quick summary about this book. We follow our main character of Finlay Character, we call him Finn for short because I don't think I'm saying his name right. He has just procured a position as a cook for the king. But see, Finn has a secret. He is what we call a house witch, and he does not want a lot of people knowing that he's a witch. Being a witch is not illegal. It is just kind of frowned upon. They have just come out of the hunting period of witches where they were scorned and a lot of prejudice was thrown against them. So they try to hide their powers, but it's not illegal to be a witch. There are covens of witches. They know they exist. There's even rivalries with mages who were like fake witches because, you know, they're humans that were taught magical abilities and have to have some fucking crystal shit to do some crap. And these witches were just born with natural abilities. But Finlay is what they say is not a full witch because his element is not a nature earthbound element. So fire, water, earth, things of that nature. What his element is the home. Whatever he deems his home, he can control, he can manipulate. So in a kitchen, he can make things float around. As long as he's been in the room and he's familiarized with the room and he considers it as part of his home, his magic will work. But if he's in like BF fucking E over here, that's not his home on vacation, his power's fucked. He's got nothing. So they don't really believe him to be a very powerful witch for this reason, because his powers are only limited to his home. Except the unique thing about his powers is that he can his powers are so there's no limit to them as long as they pertain to the home. So that's stuff within the home, protecting the home, protecting a loved one that you consider part of your home, because people, I like this element of the story that people can be home. It's not just a building, it's the people that are actually the home, and we start to learn that. So I really, really enjoyed this witch element. But see, he wants to keep it a secret. He doesn't want a lot of people knowing because it's not extremely acceptable, especially to be a royal cook. So to keep people at bay and keep them at arm's length, he has a really shitty personality. But not like shitty that you don't want to be around. He's just kind of a snarky asshole. So if you like assholes, you're going to love this guy. And I love this guy because he's a snarky asshole. He's just a smart ass. And he tells it like it is. He's just like, you're in my kitchen, get the fuck out. I'm sorry. Do I look like I give a shit? My kitchen, get the fuck out. Like, I like that. I like a guy who just, you know, tells it like it is. And I appreciated that. But it is very off-putting for a lot of people. So he keeps people at arm's length with his personality and his rebukes and his annoying tendencies to be very discreet and keep to himself. But throughout the story, we get to experience a bunch of different events and scenarios that start to slowly tear this wall that he's built around himself down. And you see that Finn discovers he's not really alone, and he doesn't have to be alone. That this whole persona that he's created is a bunch of bullshit. And he is not alone. And he has a family, and people care about him because that's what makes him powerful. It's not the building, it's the people within the home that is actually home. Home is wherever your heart is, and your heart is with people, not objects. And I thought that was fantastic. So what worked in this book? The found family element. I loved it. I loved how it was portrayed. I loved how we knew it was coming, but I love how it was earned, and how at the very end, there's like, dude, we already fucking know. We already fucking know. And we don't care. Just do your fucking job. Like, do your job. We don't care. And through Finn's own unique way, he has drawn all of these misfit people to him. He is like what I like to call the stray master. The stray master is that person that always finds the strays, the stray animals. They always bring them home, or they take them to the vet. You know, the crazy cat people, crazy dog people. But a stray master can be for humans. There are people out there that if you look at their circle of friends, there's no commonality among any of them, except the fact that a lot of people consider them outcasts. So they're just outcasts together. And that was my group of friends. That was my group of friends. I had friends in all of the different cliques because I just wanted to be friends with everybody, and I learned different things. But if you look at my best friend, she's a stray master, okay? She is. I am a stray, and she brought me in. Bitch made some fucking grass angels in my high school. I'm not kidding when I say grass angel, like, you know, snow angel. She made that in grass. And that's how she got me to hang out with her. She stalked me. I also stole her food, and that's how we became friends. I mean, stray masters, okay? We're both stray masters. But you find all these like misfits and you bring them in, and that's kind of what this family is. It is a bunch of misfits all brought around Finn in the kitchen, and I love it. And they slowly but surely learn and grow with each other. We don't really see a lot of development on the other character sides as much as I would like, but what we do see is a lot of fun. They have banter, and they really do become a family. They have their fights, they have their bickerments, but then they get over and they work together. And when one of their unit is threatened, they all come to the aid. And I just think that's fucking awesome. I loved the found family element of the story. I loved how it was used. I loved how it was portrayed. I loved how it was built. This was on point for found family. If you want a found family book and you like that trope, definitely pick this one up. You will appreciate this found family. Is it the strongest I've ever seen? Absolutely not. But this is also the first installment, and I haven't really seen a lot of them. There are some hiccups within their found family, but this is the initial opening. This is, we are the unit, but we have not actually been tested yet. Individually, we've been tested, but not as a family unit, where we have not 100% been tested yet to really say we're there. But I really enjoyed what I got for it in this book. I thought it was a great time, for sure. Finlays character. Love this guy. Love him. He's a ginger. Yes. Thank you. So for him being a snarky asshole makes me very fucking happy, okay? I love that. He is dry, he is funny, and he's just a fucking idiot. I love him. People say things, and it's written in the book for him having to fight his facial expressions because he wants to laugh so bad. But it's only gonna make the situation worse, and that is me to a T. That is me to a fucking T. It takes a lot for me to like really go fucking postal and like lose my shit, because usually when I'm yelling at the top of my lungs, I just want to laugh because it's so stupid. It's so comical because it's so stupid. It just is. And just to see it written in a book, it was just awesome. I had a great time with him, but I really liked how we saw him in the beginning and how he grew to the end of the story. At least the end of the story for this installment. I really enjoyed his growth. It was fast enough that kept me entertained, but it was slow enough that it felt real, that it felt this is a logical progression of events. And I really enjoyed it. There wasn't anything insta about his change, his demeanor, nothing. It definitely grows with him as the story develops. And I really, really appreciate that. Thought it was really, really well done with him, but he's just fucking hilarious. He's just funny. He gets it put in stuff. If things are said to him, his reactions, his drop moments are hilarious. What he says is hilarious. Sometimes he's the one-upper. Sometimes he's the one that got something that somebody got over him, and that's even more funny. It's just like, fuck. And he's like, and the way he handles it, great. I loved it. Had a great time with him. Great time for sure. I'm usually not one for a slow burn, but I like the slow burn in this one. I liked it. It felt real to me. This back and forth cat and mouse romance that we've got going on. It's like, I want to be with you, but we can't. There's different forces against each other. One's noble, one's not. I'm a witch, you're not. You have to get married for political things, I'm not. I don't really want to sacrifice this, but I do. Do you really like me? Does he like... I like this... Normally, I think this shit's fucking annoying. I do. This game is annoying, but the way it was in this book, it was great. It was really well done because we didn't get so much of it that it was just like, oh my God, make a fucking choice already. Seriously, dude, make a fucking choice. But it was just enough to remind you that these are two polar different characters. that shouldn't be together, but you want them to be. You want them to be, and you want to hope for the best for them. And I really enjoyed the slow burn, and we're still getting it. It's definitely not over, so hopefully it doesn't get any slower and it maybe like cranks up the speed, because right now it's like right at the perfect pace of slowness. If it was any slower, it'd probably be like I'm fucking annoying, but it's not. It's at that sweet spot, and I don't want it to be so sweet, sickeningly sweet, that it just sours it. You know what I mean? So really enjoy the slow burn. There was something really unique in the story that I did not see coming. Didn't see this at all. There is a lot of talk of equality, representation, and assault. Not actual assault on page. What I'm talking about is how women are perceived in kind of fantasy novels. We have this character, Hannah. She's one of the aides. And she's kind of bouncing in the beginning because the knights are constantly pecking at her and picking at her and grabbing at her and pawing at her. And through a series of events, she starts to find her own voice and stand up for herself. But then at the same time, men stand up for her and her rights. Like, do you really enjoy being pawed at? Do you want to be made out with? Do you want to be just looked at derogatory? Did not see that fucking angle coming, and I like it. I like that it was in. That was fucking dope. That was awesome. And Hannah earned it. Like, she earned this reputation after she started standing up for herself. It wasn't shied away. It wasn't made, oh, she's fucking crazy. Yeah, they made jokes about it, but they were intrigued and they were enamored with this woman who actually had strength and stamina and didn't just stand there and be like a flower in the wind that gets blown over by the next hot breeze that comes by. She stood up for herself and she didn't take shit anymore. And I loved it. I thought it was great. The fact that Finn made it very clear in the beginning that it didn't matter what sex you were not going to sexually harass his aides and his workers. You were not going to fucking do it. You just weren't. And if you thought you were better than them because they work in a kitchen, well, you're going to work in a kitchen and you're going to see exactly what it takes. So there you go. Have a nice day. And I love how he just knocked all of these super alpha dog men right down the ground, and these men learned from it and then realized the strength it took to do this. But at the same time, Hannah didn't hold over all of them the entire time. She learned from them. She learned that if she wants to be taken seriously, she cannot be treated, at least in this world, she could not be expected that someone's always going to come to her aid. Yes, this one time someone did, but there are thousands of times he didn't. If she wants this to continue, then she needs to make sure that this is the kind of respect that she demands and this is how she wants to be treated. So they mutually learned from each other. And I thought that was great. I thought that they took that situation, the author took that situation and manipulated it in a way that was very, very positive and very, very well put. And I thought it was great. And I liked it. And by the end of the book, I loved the Knights. I thought they were fantastic. In the beginning of the book, I hated those guys. But yet, they became like big brothers to Hannah. And they still joked around with her and, you know, flirted with her. But it wasn't derogatory anymore. It was more like a big brother to a kid sister. And she took it and then threw it right back at them. And I liked it. I liked it a lot. Which leads me to the next thing, the banter between the characters. Once you really start to get to know your characters, in this book, the banter between them is fucking hilarious. The guys talk during their little guy times, fucking phenomenal. Hannah saying, get off your ass. Girls have secrets too. Yeah, she's said she's done, but we've got a whole other timeline that you fuckers don't even know about. Like, please, you've got time. Don't worry about it. You know, like, the banter, the little secrets, the nuances of gender and sex and the dating world and the love world kind of being shown together and talked about over kitchen, over, you know, cooking vegetables and making cakes and things. I just thought it was fucking great because I thought about all the big conversations that I have in my home, and a lot of them are in the kitchen. When I have talks with my mom, I'm sitting at our little breakfast nook and she's having conversation with me. We're in the kitchen. I'm with my daughter. I'm baking something. She's in the kitchen. We're dancing in the kitchen. The kitchen is the heart of a lot of homes. And I love the fact that all of these really provoking conversations, thought-changing conversations, funny conversations, humorous shit takes place in the kitchen or takes place around food where people are comfortable. I just think that was awesome. I had a great time with that. Also to mention, the fucking comedy in this story was hilarious. Dry humor, oh my god, I loved it. Sarcasm, loved it. And then there was just some raunchy, stupid, like college humor. There's a character in here called Lord Fucks. Lord Fucks. That's his name, and he owns it. And I thought it was great. I laughed my fucking ass off majority of the time. Anytime he was on page, I thought he was fucking great. There were drunken scenes with the guys where they do stupid shit and they like bet each other to do crazy random shit like run streaking across the castle, like stuff that college frat boys do. And I'm just like, the fuck? This is great. It was awesome. I loved it. It was such a mixture of dry, sarcastic humor, bonding moments, memories that you sit down later on over beers and food and reminisce about stupid fucking shit you did when you were younger, when you first fucking met. Hidden talents coming out because of conversation and banter. Just the chaos that can ensue when you try to one-up somebody in a drinking contest. It was great. It was great. I loved it. I had such a good time with the comedic moments of the story. The amount of humor in the story definitely made some of those more serious parts of the story a lot more easier to break down. I had a great time with it, definitely for sure. There was a lot of stuff that worked in this book. However, there wasn't a lot of stuff that didn't straight up work. I thought a lot of the elements in this story worked really well together. The author utilized them, not too much, not too little. The only thing that, if I had to really say was wrong with this book, and this is the common thing that all my girls said, is it felt like I was reading this thing forever. I read this book every night. This book is only 450 pages, something like that. And I read it on my Kindle. And I have my Kindle font set fairly low so I can get through it more because I don't mind reading a Kindle, but I prefer a physical book, okay? Let's just be honest, I do. But I felt like I was reading this book forever. And the only reason I can fathom in my mind is that there's nothing super dangerous, nothing super serious is happening. We are building for something like that, but for the majority of this book, it is just everyday life for a cook in a castle. Everyday normal problems, making breakfasts, making lunches, making dinners, dealing with people coming in and stopping you from doing your fucking job because they have some goddamn problem, becoming friends with people that you work with and that you live with, building relationships over beers and stupid fucking stories. Like, nothing really exciting, dramatic, crazy fucking happened. However, there is an overarching plot line where a lot of that mystery and intrigue came in. So there's where your excitement and you're kind of, what? I don't know. Who? What? What's going on? That I don't know element that kind of keeps you going. But other than that, it was mostly just everyday stuff, which made it feel like I was reading it forever. Just because everyday life. I don't really know any other way to explain it, but it just felt like I was reading it forever. So that kind of felt like a downside to the book. But at the same time, is that a downside of the book? That when I'm in this book, it feels so natural, so everyday, that I feel like it's part of my everyday routine. At some point in time this month, this book became part of my everyday routine. At picking it up at some point in time, whether I read 5 pages or 50 pages, it became a routine, just like the routines built within the story. Finn had a routine, and his routine kept getting disrupted, and that's how he grew. Well, if you really think about life, you develop routines, but if they get disrupted, those are your growing moments. Those are your building moments. Those are your defining moments. Now, some defining moments are not really defining when you just fuck up your routine on a regular basis, but like your life-centering routines, when they get disrupted, those are life-building moments. And some of his life-centering routines were getting disrupted because of these people that turn into becoming found family members later on. And I thought that was great. That was fantastic. Good time. But at the same time, it made me feel like I read this book forever. So does that work? Does it not work? Kind of annoying that it was just never over, but also kind of a cool thing at the same time. A very unique element to the story that I don't know if it was actually meant to happen. It's kind of a unique experience for sure. As for a spice rating, I gave this a 1 chili pepper. We're slow burn. There is spice. There is buildup. There's a little bit of foreplay, but there is no actual graphic. So what I'm saying, when it comes to the spice level of this book, I believe is okay for young adults. Does that mean the entire series is young adult? I don't think so. I think we're going to get a little bit more spice later on, because when the author did decide to go into some graphicness, it was graphic material, just not graphic language. Very flowery language, but graphic material, definitely graphic innuendoed material as well. I mean, she has somebody named Lord Fucks. I thought that was great. And she has guys doing drunkenly stupid shit. Nice frat boy moments. It's awesome. So I would say that this book, the way it stands right now, if you are looking for like a YA recommendation, I believe a young adult could read this book, new adult could read this book. However, I don't know if that is going to cross the entirety of the series. So it's just this installment right now, 1 chili pepper. But I'm hoping that will get racked up, because I feel like it should. I feel like this author's got the chops to do some serious, not twisty, not kinky, not dark shit, but just really nice sex scenes. I feel like they're gonna be good when we get to them. I do. But that is all I read these past 2 weeks. Yeah, like I said, I read every fucking day, but it felt like I was reading forever. So I have my book haul, but I didn't realize I had been talking forever already. So we're just going to do the book haul another time. Sorry if that's the reason you guys were watching this video. I will link the book haul right here, because I'll film it right after. So, but that's what I got for you guys today. I will see you guys all soon with another video, but a little sneak peek into the book haul. It's this. So it'll be a nice chunky video, but I'll see you guys all soon. Bye guys.